So I would like
Thank
to
you.
start asking you to please introduce yourself briefly, just your name, where you are from, and your professional background.
All right. Thank you for invitation. I'm João Coimbra. I'm from Portugal, and I have agronomy. I'm an agronomist, and I work in my farm in the family business, perhaps to 30 years. Then now we are a family business. We are 10 brothers, a lot of brothers, and the three of them works in the field, in the farm, and the others now. So we produce corn by irrigation, and we produce forests, cork, pines, eucalyptus, and we have the business with we produce energy from renewables. We are self-producer of our energy, and we export a little bit. And this is a third business you have here. But normally I work in the farm, in the corn, and with rice, some wheat, and some set aside, and the spots of biodiversity, small spots. We produce a lot of things to have an environment site in our farm.
Okay, yeah, very diverse, I see. So
yes.
yeah, and now taking in consideration the main topic of this seminar, so can you tell us what kind of soil health problems you have faced in the past in your farm?
In the first time, the biggest problem is the monoculture. I make monoculture to 40 years, corn by corn, every year. And I'm thinking, everybody says is dangerous way to making only corn. And I'm beginning to have some afraid of have problem in the future, because we are owners of the land. We are not only farmer, we are owners. And so I have to put my soil in the hands of my sons. So it's important for us to recognize the danger of making some mistakes or some errors. Then you lose control of the soil. The health of the soil is not so good. And I begin to study the problem of the soil, perhaps 15 years. My father, I have the same approach. My father died 30 years ago, and I begin my generation. And so we looking the soil like the first issue of our farm. The health of our soils is very important for us. And the problem from monoculture is another problem, is a huge problem. So we began to looking this solution to work with this conflict, the monoculture. And economically, I don't have alternative. I'm beginning to trying alternative wheat, sunflower, sugar beet, but sugar beet is ending in Portugal. Now we have only apple to produce corn. So the problem is to be precising, to have farming with intelligence, with precising farming, with precising agriculture. And so we produce a lot of data, information about the soil. We study the soil, and is the biggest problem. Monoculture, and economically is not possible to do another thing. And so we must have a big study. What is the problem of monoculture? Studying the soil, we don't produce corn, small spots with no agriculture, and we try to balance what is the problem with the monoculture, the irrigation sites, because in the natural you don't irrigate. In the past, my father don't irrigate, and so now we irrigate a lot because we have a lot of water in the underground. And perhaps is another problem to change the climate of the soil, because every year we irrigate a lot, and in the past we don't irrigation. We have irrigation. So we study, and we study a lot with the universities, with pupils. He came here to study and make his thesis. And now we are prepared to make some change our approach. We reduce tillage in the first way. In the conventional tillage, we try to reduce a lot of tillage. don't have a lot of tillage because the compactation, because a loss of organic matter. And now we produce a spot with direct seeds. I don't know if you know, it's possible to seeding corn only in the grass, not have some tillage. We don't till it in the spot, 10% of our farm. In the last 20 years, we have a lot of studies to adapt the technology to the direct seeds. But it's very difficult with our climate, and more difficult because we produce a lot. We have a lot of production by hectare, and this direct seed, we reduce the production. So we must try to study a lot. And what are we doing now? Now we produce conventional tillage, corn by conventional tillage, and direct seeds, two ways. On the ways where 90% of our farming is corn by corn, we introduce the cover crops in the winter. Now the soil is all year cover crops because we don't have nude. And in direct seeds, we make the cover crop too. So in the spring, in the zone with the conventional tillage, we put it glyphosate and we tillage. In the direct seed, we don't tillage. And we study what is the difference and the balance of the investments and the results of one way and another way. And now we are every year we are augmenting the direct seeds because we know it's very difficult, is less productive, but in terms of environment, in terms of logistic, in terms of health of the soil, we think we are better way and we are better soil now. And the last challenge is to avoid emissions. And with the direct seeds, we can avoid a lot of emission. Now we are very concentrated in the avoid emission in all life cycle of the corn. So the problem in the corn is the nitrogen. The cycle of the nitrogen is impossible to don't have emissions. So we must retain the nitrogen in the soil. So we have less tillage, we have less nitrogen in the air. So it's possible to reduce nitrogen.
So one last word, what do you think would be the main learning points from your experience that you would like to share with other farmers?
No, the most important is we must know our soil. We make a lot of study, electroconductivity, the soil analysis by all the soil, not only one sample here or two samples, a lot of samples. We make maps with fertility, different fertility, different, you put different nitrogen and the phosphorus and potassium is not the same in the whole field. Because now we know what is the needs of one spot and the needs in the other spot. And you have VRT, variable rate technology, to put it different kinds of fertilizer, and there are spots we don't put fertilizer in because it's not needed. Because in the soil we have a lot of fertilizer. Fertility is different in our soils because they are very diverse. So the approach with precision agriculture is to know what you have in the soil and put it only what is needed to produce the most production in our fields, because here we produce a lot and we don't want to reduce the production because the price is very low. So we must produce more, but we can produce with less inputs. Is our goal.
Yes. So that's time we have now. João, thank you very much.
All right.